Three girls walk through a field while singing. Soon, one of them screams in fear, before being struck by another one. The scene changes instantly to one of the girls sitting before a psychiatrist. The girl is Marina, being spoken to by Dr. Ward. The doctor tells her that sometimes people create imaginary friends. Before she finishes, Marina tells her the girl's name is Mercy. 15 years later, Marina still occupies the psychiatric hospital. Dr. Ward tells her they all need to believe in something. She still claims to believe in Santa. She also tells Marina she filed the papers for her release. Yet Marina seems worried about this, having stayed there for so long. The doctor tells her she is destined for more. Then her sister, Alice, picks her up. We discover that their mother passed away as they ride. Once they enter the house, there is a big welcoming sign there dedicated to Marina. The house is also big and stylish. Alice brings Marina to her room, where the latter starts getting settled. While she does it, her closet door opens. Coming in there, a hand grabs her leg to scare her. It is Alice's son, Bryce. He holds pictures of his parents, saying his dad works for NASA. He is currently on a secret mission. After that, Marina lies in the bathtub, remembering her gruesome past. Suddenly, a hand touches her from behind. She knows it isn't real and has to count to calm herself. But someone starts coming out from the other end with a severed finger. That is when the hands return to grab her. Luckily, it was only a nightmare, though her mind can't rest because Bryce is there to scare her some more. He was there to give her a nightlight. He did not mean to scare her. He seems to intend to help his aunt. During dinner, the family has Alice's friend over. He is Will, telling jokes that make them all laugh. Once they are alone, Marina tells him it feels odd to be out. Will starts talking about her past, but she doesn't want to go there. The man tells her he likes crime stories, so talking to her is like talking to a celebrity for him. Even though she didn't want it discussed, Will starts summarizing what happened on that dark day for her. Two girls brought a girl into the woods to stab her several times for Mercy Black, saying that name makes Marina uneasy. She wants him to avoid it, but he tells her it's popular. It went viral, even inspiring copycat crimes. Will informs her that she brought the world a new nightmare. After their conversation, we see the man tends toward darkness. He could not control himself, as he spoke about the incident from long ago. Following that, Marina lies in bed and remembers how her friend dragged the other girl. Then she hears someone call her, prompting her to leave the room. When she gets downstairs, she notices a door open above. She thinks it's Bryce, hiding. At that moment, a doll smashes through the glass door, terrifying Marina. On it, there is an indecent statement intended for Marina. The violent happening causes Alice to come out to comfort her sister. Later, Alice tells her that Will maybe knows the people who did it, so she will talk to him. She says this before going to work, leaving Marina home alone. At school, Bryce asks the librarian, Mrs. Bellows, who Mercy Black is, but she doesn't know. Bryce thinks she is living in his house. She advises him to use the internet to learn more. Once they search for her, Bellows thinks it wasn't a good idea to do it because the images look menacing. She also tells him that the story surrounding Mercy Black is just a story. People create such stories because they desire mystery. When she leaves, Bryce looks at the picture of Mercy Black. It resembles the doll that broke through the glass last night. At home, Marina sands the stairs. She notices a black feather falling on a step. It prompts her to look for where it may have come from. As she does it, she gets startled by Will being there to turn on the sanding tool. He's there because Alice told him to check on Marina. Since he heard about what happened last night, he starts talking about the incident from long ago. He says Marina's friend, Rebecca, manipulated her. Despite being the real criminal, she was let out before Marina was. Then he switches his discourse by telling her that instead of running from her past, she should embrace it. He advises Marina to get her story out on a talk show, but she doesn't remember what happened. That is when the man takes her hand and says it's time to make a profit. She squeezes it out, telling him he should go. As she goes back to sanding the stairs, Will wants her to understand that it's easy money. Yet again, he acts indecently by touching her leg, which makes her use the tool against his hand. He insults her just before Alice comes home. He tells her what Marina did, while giving an attitude in the process. This makes Alice command him to get off her property. After that crude interaction, Will presented himself as someone who thinks of making money before anything else. Even though he knows Marina wants to escape her gruesome past, he still rushes in the direction of fortune. His mind locks onto it, disregarding the obvious negatives. Later, Marina tells Alice she wants to live in her own place. However, Alice does not want her to. She is firm about her decision. Afterward, Alice takes out the trash and sees something in the shed, so she takes a rake as a weapon. Going in there, she finds nothing. At that point, we observe that both Marina and Alice feel something isn't right. Alice finds her dog lifeless in the trash. Meanwhile, Marina sees someone open a door from the stairs. Alice yells out to her, preventing her from investigating who it was. Once Marina comes to her, Alice believes Will is responsible for the dog. She also says the police won't come all the way there, especially for Marina regarding her past crime. Following that, Bryce tells Marina he searched her name, which led him to some stories. This makes her start telling him a story of her own. Her mother got sick, so with her friend, Rebecca, they made a friend to help make her better. Rebecca made her up, while Marina believed her. Despite her creation, Marina's mom never got better. Then Bryce asks what if he sees Mercy Black. To that, Marina tells him she counts to 5 with her eyes closed. when she sees something that isn't real. The boy responds by taking her to the computer and typing Mercy Black. He shows her all the people who were frightened by her. If so many were, he asks, how can she not be real? The next scene has Alice at Will's place. She angrily questions whether he put his friends up to destroy her dog. But the man doesn't know what she's talking about. Soon she discovers his workspace. He has dozens of articles glued to the wall concerning Mercy Black. She is somewhat taken aback by it, yet he tells her it's his research. He tells her they could make a lot of money writing a book about the incident. He also shows her how various people are doing ugly things for Mercy Black. He does it to prove that she is something people obsess over. Writing a book about what Marina went through would go a long way for them. However, Alice sees nothing great about having her sister exploited in the way he wants. She expresses her anger before storming out. At another time, Will thinks someone is at his place. He leaves his room, only to come back to observe his workspace is a mess. This brings him to panic, until he opens a door to witness the same doll that Marina saw. He thinks a joke was played on him, but it does not look like a joke because the doll grabs him by the neck. As the man screams in terror, Bryce wakes up. He takes a figure of an astronaut to calm himself. Then he looks under his bed, anticipating something awful. Much to his chagrin, something awful is there. It instantly makes him say to himself that it's not real. Bryce counts to 5, just like his aunt taught him. Doing so annihilates the false perception he had when he looks again. Though it doesn't last, because the threat returns in the ventilation shaft. He screams in fear. His mom comes to him, along with Marina, who observes the word promise on the wall. A flashback shows us that word was on Rebecca's shoe. Rebecca severs the sacrificed girl's finger, and they both stand in the water after that. As they stand, they hear a terrifying sound. Later, Marina decides she has to see if Mercy Black is real, so she ventures out into the woods. Before going there, she visits Rebecca's mom, who is delighted to see her. Upon entering Rebecca's room, her mom removes a blanket that covers her. Marina's past friend looks catatonic. What could have caused her to enter such a state? She and Marina were together during the incident, yet Rebecca lost her mind while her friend retained her sanity. Marina asks the mother if Rebecca ever talked about what happened when they were kids, yet the lady doesn't answer, leaving them alone. Marina tries talking to Rebecca. She wants to know if Mercy Black is real. She doesn't get an answer, so she looks at a picture of all three of them. A paper falls out, which turns out to be a map. At that point, Rebecca grabs her from the floor. She starts attacking Marina, while screaming. Her mom has to re-enter to calm her. In another flashback, Rebecca places the severed finger in the water, while Marina places her bloody hands. Rebecca yells out that is their offering to Mercy Black. The girl soon sees the horrific being. When Marina opens her eyes, she sees her too. A terrified yell exits her. Back at the house, Alice calls Dr. Ward. She tells her that Marina is probably seeing things. Meanwhile, in an outhouse, Bryce plays a disturbing game with his friend. He restrains him on a chair, telling him to yell for help. As he does, Alice hears it and rushes to them. She tries opening the door, but her son set it up in a way that opening it would choke his friend. We see the boy as being negatively affected by Mercy Black. However, he soon comes to his senses, making him cut the rope. He tells his mom that she told him to do it, meaning Mercy. There is a drawing of her that rests on a cabinet. Then Marina uses the map to keep walking to her location. She runs into several things that remind her of the past. Eventually, she opens a ground door to enter a fallout shelter. As she walks through the abandoned area, she hears singing. It is very likely the singing is a flashback sound. That's not truly there. When she turns on the lights in a certain room, she observes several dolls hanging. The word promise is also there on the wall. Marina finds a book on the Greek language. Once she does, a flashback shows them creating the head of Mercy. At present time, Marina realizes they made it all up. Her young self places an item from her mom onto the finished doll, while her current self picks up Mercy's mask to say she is nothing. Back at home, Alice looks at her son's drawing of Mercy. The word promise is riddled all over it. She tries to understand it, but her phone rings to interrupt her. It is the police calling her about Will. The officer wants her to come to the police station because Will's body was found. Following that news, Alice comes to Bryce's room to see him standing on the bed while whispering. He says he was talking to Mercy, and that she is right outside the door. She exits the room to show him there is nothing there. At that moment, he runs screaming toward her, yet the door shuts on him. Then Alice sees Mercy at the window, causing her to tumble downstairs out of fear. Marina comes home to see her sister being taken away by the paramedics. She asks Alice what happened. Mercy is the only word she says. With this information, she has to start believing that Mercy is not so much of a lie anymore. In his room, Marina asks Bryce how his mom fell, but he's not allowed to say it. She shows him the Mercy Black mask, telling him they made her up. She is a lie. The boy seems somewhat calmer due to this, and she stays with him as he sleeps. When she opens her eyes, he's not there. Looking for him, she finds him wearing Mercy's mask downstairs. We now see he has become consumed by the legend. Marina has no choice but to be as straight with him as she can. So she says he can tell her anything, she will believe him. He starts singing the song they sang long ago. This makes Marina wear a strange expression. She slowly turns her head to get struck down by someone. This causes Bryce to run out, where he encounters Mrs. Bellows. He tells her Mercy is there. In response, she takes his hand, revealing a missing finger on hers. We realize she is the girl. She tells Bryce she will tell him what to do. Afterward, she places him in the fallout shelter. Before leaving him there, she says he should do as he promised and nothing will happen to his mom. Meanwhile, Dr. Ward comes to Marina. She asks if Lily was there. Upon her saying that name, a flashback reveals Lily was the girl who got sacrificed. At that moment, Marina understands where Bryce is at. The doctor warns her against going, but she tells her to believe her for once. In the fallout shelter, Bryce searches until he finds the doll of Mercy. He places the mask on her. Then he gives the doll his astronaut figure. At that time, Marina comes to the shelter with Ward. Marina enters, while the doctor stays outside, calling 911. As she does, Lily comes behind to attack her. As Marina comes to Bryce, Lily also arrives. She finally sees Marina, after a long 15 years of not seeing her. The first thing she tells her is that she had to make Marina believe again, so she could see Mercy. She also says Marina could not finish the job. Due to that, her mother passed away. Marina responds by slamming her childhood friend with a pipe. She sends Bryce away in the meantime. Lily says she was the only one who could see her, though Marina states it was never real. Stabbing her, Lily says Mercy Black was real the moment the knife entered her, long ago. She now wants to leave Marina in the same way she left her. We see that Lily was the one most affected by the past incident. It has shaped her into someone determined to finish what they started. She even threatens to eliminate Bryce and goes after him in the woods. Alone in the room, Marina has the Mercy doll fall on her. She manages to crawl out. Yet it doesn't matter too much because Mercy comes to life. It hauntingly hovers over Marina, before coming to her with its mouth opening wider. Spiders crawl out from the eyes and mouth. Marina runs away, only to soon get pressed against a wall by Mercy. At this point, she tells Mercy that she made her through pain. Now she is taking it back. Her next action is taking her mom's item back and using it to attack Mercy, which brings her to the floor. She has proven herself to be stronger than the nightmare that haunted her most of her life. Gaining control, she now goes to make things right. So she comes to Lily, who holds Bryce, and gets her on the ground. She chokes her childhood friend. After she lets go, Marina says that Lily wanted them to finish her long ago. Then Lily reveals that nothing has changed. She still wants it. However, all Marina does is just throw her ribbon at her, the offering Lily gave to Mercy. Her last statement to Lily is that it's over. She meant it positively. But Bryce changes the situation into a negative by taking his librarian's life. He tells Marina he made a promise. This causes Mercy Black to stand behind him in a more developed form. She takes him into her, while revealing her menacing eye behind the mask. The nightmare that lasted for so long has not ended, it has only just begun.